Welcome to K-Drama School. I'm your host, Grace Jung, and class is now in session. How are you doing? How was your January? How was the opening of 2022? I have to say, you guys, like lately, I've been super tired every single day. I think that means that I am killing it during the day, right? I mean, that's the only reason why I would be tired by the end of the day. Like, I'm just writing a lot. I am exercising more frequently than I have been. I am I'm still not smoking pot. I'm still not drinking alcohol. I'm eating a little bit better. Well, today I had pizza. Today I met up with a good friend of mine. She and I went to graduate school together, and she recently moved to Atlanta, but she keeps coming back to LA to pick up mail and this and that. And she bought me lunch over at Abbot Kinney Boulevard down in Venice, and it was so sweet. Like, I wasn't expecting her to pick up the check, but she did. And, she was kind of buying it for my birthday, which is in February. And she's also painting, and she showed me this incredible oil painting that she started, and it's like of a woman sitting with a giant amethyst vagina. And when I saw this painting, I was like, yes. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And like my friend, she's very slow. She's very slow at everything. She has to do everything at her pace. It's a pace that is very antithetical to my pace because my pace is fast, efficient, get it done, no thinking, impulse, feel, get it done. And she's like very slow. She's like a turtle, like a snail slash turtle. It moves so fucking slowly. And I have to be patient with her, It's like it's enraging sometimes. There is a part of me where the fire is just like lit up and I'm like, "Oh my God, you've been staring at this menu for literally 15 minutes and you're only looking at the beverage order." But that's her pace. And when I asked her, I was like, "Do you do anything creative?" She's like, "Oh, I recently went and bought these paints and I thought they were acrylic, but turns out they were oil and I'm getting into it." And I was like, "That's why you bought oil, because oil painting takes forever to dry. It takes forever, and that's why people do oil, because they could change their mind, they could really take their time. But acrylic, which is my medium, it's my choice, it dries like instantly. And like art just finds you. The art that you're supposed to be doing finds you. It's funny how like a lot of my friends just ask me questions about their life. It's been happening more and more. They just ask me questions about life and ask me for direction and guidance. And it's kind of like, whoa, Because like I am in no way perfect. I am in no way all figured out. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just taking each day one day at a time. That's all I can do. I'm still not working. I don't want to work. I mean, I say I'm not working. I'm not working a job, I suppose, but I'm working every day, right? That's why I'm so tired. But I started to scan my drawings. I guess that's a step forward. I'm scanning my drawings, and I thought that that would be the end of it, but no. Since I scanned them, I now have to Photoshop them, color correct them. It needs to be enhanced somehow through Photoshop, and I'm not very good at Photoshop, but it's something I need to learn and figure out so I could start selling these artworks. And I started I'm just doing a lot of projects right now that I hope can eventually become a source of income, I suppose. It's very funny how life works. Like I was at the Improv tonight and the bartender there was like, "Wait, you don't work? How do you like what do you do for money?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like I don't have a lot of money. I struggle with money." And he's like, "I don't understand your life." I was like, "Yeah, well, I don't either. I don't either." I was over at Abbot Kinney Boulevard and I spent like $400. No, I spent like $500. I spent $500 on clothes, you guys. I bought this jacket. I bought this beautiful jacket because it fit me perfectly. It felt like I was putting my arms into my own skin. It felt so perfectly. I had to buy another jacket because I have this headshot photo shoot coming up. You know, my talent agency, my agents at the talent agency were like, we want to send you out for more bookings and auditions, but you have only 2 headshots uploaded. And you guys, it's such a racket, you know? Like, you have to get headshots taken, which costs hundreds of dollars. And you have to buy the clothes to take these headshots. And you have to have a diversity of outfits, like a bad girl look, a business look, a girl next door look, and you have to have these different outfits, right? You have to get your hair done, you have to get your makeup done. All of that costs hundreds of dollars. And then when you upload these images onto the site, like Actors Access or whatever the fuck that the agency uses, they charge you $10 per headshot. Okay. So I'm just saying it's just a whole lot of spending money hoping for something, you know? And it's no different with my other business, you know, my art business. Yeah. In any case, I'm doing my best. Oh, I also started reaching out to literary agents with my novel. That's a thing, right? I'm just journaling right now. I'm just listing the things that I'm doing. Uh, but it's it's got to happen, you know, it's got to work out. That's the only thing that I have my eye set on right now. It's a risk to take, but you know what? I feel like it's a risk that I never took before, to believe in myself this much, this hard. And whatever, you know, I'm just going in it without fear, without hesitation, just doing it because I have to maintain the kind of life that I want to maintain. I have to live the kind of life that I want to live, the kind of life that I love. And I can say very genuinely, honestly, that these days I love each and every single one of my days. Like, I don't spend a single one of my days doing something I don't want to do. And I feel like that's a lot. I feel like that's saying a lot. I feel like that's a huge achievement. I'm not sure there are a lot of people out there who can say, these last 3 days, I lived my life living it exactly as I wanted to. Like, I don't think a lot of people get to say that. So I'm going to pat myself on the back for that. And I hope you guys figure out a way to live your best day and your best life as well. In any case, today's episode is about The Lady in Dignity, also known as Woman of Dignity. It is a 2013 JTBC Korean drama, and it's one of the earlier cable K-drama TV series that was shaking up Korean TV history with its high ratings. And when I first saw the pilot episode of The Lady in Dignity, I didn't think much of it, and I stopped for a bit because it felt like a very ajumma drama. And that's because it is. It is. It's a drama about ajummas, starring ajummas. But this is a show that's giving Kim Hee-sun back her acting career recognition, and she always deserved it. Always. I talked about one of the earlier shows that she starred in back in 1998. It's on episode 42 of K-Drama School. It's called Till the End of the World. It's also entitled Forever Yours. It depends on what title you search. But it's the one with Ryu Ji-won. And Kim Hee-sun's character gets raped and impregnated by a rich, narcissistic, psycho lover in that drama. It's very harrowing. And 90s K dramas really did a lot of young, beautiful actresses wrong by making them extremely passive characters. I got a letter from one of the K drama school listeners who complained about the show Pasta and how much she hated it because of the general passivity of the female protagonist played by Kong Hyo-jin. And that tends to be the frustrating reality of a lot of these K drama heroines that we see in 1990s dramas and early 2000s shows. Back in the 90s, these shows, not only would they have the female protagonist be very passive while the whole society and culture around her would just ravage her, but they would also kill her off. Yeah, she would get cancer and die. Like, that was the trend back then. But then 2010 happens and things just changed. Like, things radically changed. Female characters became less passive, more active, more aggressive, going after what they want. And we see a lot of that in The Lady in Dignity. I love this show because it was highly camp. It was stupid in a good way. It was really funny. It was ridiculous. and overly high in terms of its entertainment. I think the Korean actresses uh, on these kinds of programs typically go on variety shows to talk about how these campy soaps have these insanely ridiculous scenes where women behave outrageously in order to give viewers a form of catharsis. Because in reality, no woman would dare cross the boundary of social etiquette and show up at their husband's mistress's house to pull their hair out, or throw water in an enemy's face, or talk back in an insulting manner to somebody who is hierarchically above them, right? But the fact is that women in our society, in all countries, in all societies, generally do suppress and repress our emotions. We're expected to do right by our mothers, our grandmothers, our fathers, our grandfathers, uncles, sons, whatever. And there's a sociocultural constructing of women's behaviors and mannerisms that just doesn't really match with our actual feelings, right? But the writers can go and reimagine another way of female existence. And it's camp and it's fun and it's humorous for our viewing and entertainment. But I think it also gives us some inkling of a woman's true human potential. I did not like that Kim Seona's character was killed off on this show. I felt like she did not have to die. She suffered a lot in her life, and ultimately, she rose to the top doing exactly what people do in most capitalistically driven societies, which is behave like a crook. And I had a lot of empathy for her character and a lot of admiration for all of her maneuvers, as immoral as they might have seemed. And I want to see more outrage in that regard, to be quite frank, right? Like the women that we vilify on screen are not actually villains. They may wreak havoc, but they had their reasons. This show is quite similar to stories like Wicked or Maleficent, where we get an understanding of witches, right? Like, why did she become a witch? And there was like this whole rationale. Like, that's the story, that's the plot line. They had their reasons for being that way. And if you look at it from a different perspective, they're actually not evil at all. We understand them. So I think we can keep on claiming space for the anti heroine, okay? We have plenty of anti heroes down pat in America, like Tony Soprano, like Don Draper, like Walter White, okay? I think we can make room in K-dramas for anti-heroines like Park Bok-ja, okay? A whole show around a female anti-heroine is what I want to see next. Give that to us next, South Korea. That's what I'm waiting for, JTBC, TVN, NBC, SBS, KBS, all of y'all, okay? I think a big part of this show's success is seeing actresses like Kim Hee-sun and Kim Seona. Like Kim Hee-sun was really adored all through the 90s. Like since the early 90s, all throughout, she was a huge star. And then in 2007, she got married, had a kid, and she took a few years off. We stopped seeing her on TV. We stopped seeing her in movies. There were all these rumors around what her life was like. And then she came roaring back to television, and she was like totally different from what we saw in the mid 90s, right? And then we saw Kim Sana on this show as well. I mean, like Kim Sana is plenty adored and respected. We all saw her in My Lovely Samsun, which is such a good show. I really love that show. I think it's still terrifically written. I think it's still got, you know, like Kim Sana's comedic chops in that show. It still cracks me up. It still cracks me up. It's the kind of show that made Hyunbin the star that he is today. Okay, so I have a lot of respect for that show. I want that writer to come out with another show like that, or maybe it won't be possible. Maybe it's just once in a lifetime kind of thing. Today, I'm going to talk to my good friend David Ayala. He is an LA based comedian and a Valley neighbor of mine. I saw him twice this past week just to hang out, and it's always so good to see him. I always have a lot of laughs with him and a lot of deep talks with him. I shot this episode of the podcast in person with David at his house because there was some loud ass construction going on in my neighbor's unit over here. So the sound on this episode may be a little bit distant. But the video version of this episode is very fun. I recommend that you see it on video because you have cameo appearances from Bing Bong the cat and Cammy the dog. So It's worth it. Let's talk to David Ayala.
Now it's like now I those barriers aren't there, and I'm not working. I don't have to work for the next few months.
Yeah,
So
fuck working. Where did you work before?
I was at this paint store
Yeah.
called Portola Paints.
Like house paint?
Yeah, house paint, and it was uh it could have been a very chill, simple job. Hey,
What?
it could have been a very chill, simple
Yeah, it
job.
sounds like it.
But it was owned and ran by these two brothers.
Yeah.
Who and basically just got it. Their dad just gave it to them,
Okay.
and they didn't know how to run the company or treat their employees.
So
And
they're
it ended
running
up
it to the
being
ground.
it's growing, but it's not growing as fast as it could because they're. I remember specifically one holiday they were like, "We're gonna go and we're gonna be gone for the week." So it's a very small crew. It's just me and two other people.
Okay.
So I said, "You guys just run the store for the week," and we ran it way more efficiently than they
These pricks.
did. So
Do
by
they
the time,
like micromanage you a little bit?
all the time,
Ugh, it's the worst.
all the time, they didn't give us like the tools really to handle disputes. Like in the store, for to make the paint the color that it is, you have this like tint machine that you put the colors into.
Yeah.
And instead of training a few like 2 or 3 employees on how to tint things, or investing like $1,000, $2,000
Yeah.
in paint just to do that, and having like a day,
Yeah.
like a tint day. Just one of the brothers who knew how to do it, he would do it all the time, and that's it. That's just what he would do, and he'd always get really frustrated with us when we came into him with like a lot of orders.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, I'm like, you literally don't have to do this at all. You own the company. You could just train some of us on it and just
delegate. Yeah.
Just leave it to us so we can do it for you.
That's what you guys are there for.
Yeah. So by the end of it ended up being really emotionally abusive, and I just let them know, hey, I'm looking for another job, and they eventually just sent me a text saying, hey, I don't know if we can afford to keep you on, so we have to let you go. And that's
even better.
That was the perfect excuse for unemployment.
Even better. Always get fired.
Always get fired.
Never quit. That's what I should have done. Like, I hated my office job so much because of similar reasons. Micromanagey, like they don't know what the fuck to do, but they also don't want to like move me up and help me flourish.
Yeah.
Like, they won't give me opportunities. They kept they were also kind of racist, and I was just like, I'm very unhappy here and I'm not getting paid enough. So I just used graduate school as an excuse, like as an escape route. But what I should have done was just stop going in until they fucking fired my ass.
Yeah.
So that I could have just floated on unemployment for a little while and like vacation a little, and then go to graduate school,
Right.
But yeah, always get fired.
Always get fired. Always get laid off.
Always.
Grant, my roommate, he got laid off.
Yeah.
They laid off 30% of the company.
That was not too long ago.
Not too long ago.
And he's living it.
And he was living it up, and I think right before the holidays, he was just hanging out. He went to like some party.
Yeah.
And met some dude who needed like somebody to come and do some editing work in Texas.
Oh.
And they flew him out the next day, and now that company just literally just offered him a full-time job.
See,
So.
these editing boys, they always have jobs. So that's the rule. You get fired, laid off, or be an editor. They always need an editor.
They do. But I'm hoping with this job, with this thing I'm working on, it'll lead to the next thing I need naturally.
It always will, because you're putting in the work and you're making something for people to see.
Yeah.
And so all of it counts. Like Violet Price.
No.
Alan Price. Okay, it's like one of Sean's friends, and they're now working on a feature film but like a few years ago they made a web series and put like 10 grand of their own money into it, and it didn't go anywhere, and they're just like really butthurt about it, and like it's like it was a waste of my money, it was like a failure. I was like, but that's not true. Like, you still made something, you still made connections, you still learned a lot, I'm sure. Like, throughout that whole process, you're gaining a whole lot, even if it doesn't lead to like a deal or whatever. I mean, of course, that's what we want.
Right.
But it's not all for naught. But they were like, no, it was a failure, a waste of my money and time. And I was like, well, then it's perspective, you know? Like, if you choose or decide to think that way, then yeah, it will be.
I mean, having a body of work in and of itself is enough.
Exactly.
That's a really,
yeah.
You'll be able to look back on this cool thing you did.
Yeah. You'll always have.
You'll always have that. So many people, so many filmmakers,
yeah,
don't make anything.
Ah!
They sit around just writing
yeah,
scripts that they come up with 1,000 excuses
yeah,
as to why not to make this cool idea or cool thing.
Yeah. A friend of mine, she made 2 feature documentaries. Both of them won awards, went to film festivals around the world, and she's working on her 3rd. And I was just kind of texting her back and forth like a few months ago, and she was just like kind of beating herself up. And I was just like, I never knew like she thought of herself this way, but because she got into so many amazing like top tier festivals, like South by Southwest gave her awards and shit, and her movies are amazing, but she was just like, I still have to work like other people's, you know, on other people's projects in order to get by. Like, I'm not living a wealthy ass life like some of these other documentarians are, and going on and on and on. And I was like, oh, it's so interesting how like even if I look at somebody who seems so accomplished, if their framing of themselves is like that, then there's really nothing I can say or do to get them out of that, and that's just how they are. And it's like, from where I'm standing, I don't see her as a failure, not in the least. You know, like, I consider her a very successful filmmaker relative to a lot of other people. So just perspective, right?
Yeah.
Always perspective.
Yeah.
I think your show's gonna be amazing. It already is kind of amazing.
Thank you.
You know, you have like such specifically weird ideas.
Yeah.
And that's where it's at. That idiosyncrasy.
Mm-hmm.
That's your authorship. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing I'm trying to focus on. I think I told you about it. Is I want to. The biggest thing the biggest thing at the core of it is just the freedom to create, freedom unchained down by needing the freedom to not fit into a box.
Mm-hmm.
Not just letting myself not have to make something that is either gonna be a thing you have to sell, a thing that you could sell, a pilot, something with like a 3-act structure. I want to give myself the freedom to do that if I want to. If I have an idea for it for an episode, I definitely will do it. But if I don't, and I just have ideas for a bunch of funny random videos, then I can also do that too.
Exactly.
In my mind, it feels like chaos, and it is chaotic.
Yeah.
But it's also free.
Exactly. And what creative process isn't chaotic?
Yeah.
You know? It's supposed to be.
It always feels like every time I like want to do something, I always like I'll Google like when I wanted to write this feature script I told you about. I was like, I don't know how to write a feature. I read some screenplay books, which I'm happy I did. They're very informative.
Yeah.
But sometimes I'll see a lot of like people offering up screenplay writing classes, and I'm like, that's fine, but there's no one right way to write anything. You can just go and do it, and you'll find a way that works for you.
Exactly. Like, there really are no rules, you know?
Yeah.
There are rules if you decide that there are, you know?
Yeah.
But, like, there are actually no fucking rules. Like, one of my favorite filmmakers is Jim Jarmusch, and you know how, like, some screenplays say, like, 1 page is about 1 minute. You know how they say that?
Yeah.
Jarmusch is like, one sentence can be, like, 1 billion years. You know, he was like, there was the Big Bang, and then the universe began.
Yeah.
Like, how many fucking years is that? How many pages? I mean, that's one sentence, and the time of that. So it's like, yeah, you know, sometimes having some structure or some rubric just to inform you, like you say, that helps. But I think if we get too caught up in that,
Yeah.
and then box ourselves in, then that just becomes limiting. It becomes stressful. And I love your approach, which is that you're prioritizing freedom, you know, and you're prioritizing play and goofiness and fun. And as long as you ride that out, it's like that work is getting done in the best possible way, you know.
You're gonna make
Right.
me stop gassing. Stop saying all these nice fucking things. Shut up! Shut up! What are you... Right? What are you doing? Keep going.
No, I'm gonna stop. I'm done. Now I'm done.
Come on! Why? Literally, why? Why would you ever... Stop it.
But it took me years to, like, come to that realization because,
Yeah.
you know how, like, I don't know, like, are you an only child? Do you have siblings?
I've got 2 brothers.
Older?
Yes.
I knew it. You come off as very youngest sibling.
I give young sibling vibes.
You give the baby vibes. Yes.
Cause I'm so hopeful. Is that it?
Yeah, fun, you know, free, jolly. Yeah. Those are the qualities of the youngest sibling. You know, I'm the oldest. I'm the older. I have a younger brother, and, like, you know, I'm all fucking, you know. But it took me, like, a lot of, like, self-help books and, like, therapy and reframing and da-da-da-da-da in order to come to that conclusion, which is that, you know, life is about ease. Life is always about pursuing ease. Not laziness, you know, not
Right.
like boredom and stagnant and apathetic, not that. But life is about ease. You know, things should be smooth. Things shouldn't be, like, full of resistance and anger and fighting and defensiveness, you know? Because, like, I have a friend, she's a comic. She's like a social media influencer, I guess you could call her.
Star.
Okay.
I'm ruining relationships today, baby.
Burn it. Let's burn it down. Oh, fuck it. I don't care. Like, she has several 100,000 followers on TikTok or whatever.
Yeah.
And when I was dog sitting for her, and her house is full of quotes that are like, you gotta kill to win. You know, they're always against you. You gotta fight. And I was just like, whoa, this place is intense, you know? It is like fucking, what? Like, who is she? Like, who's coming after her? Like, the paranoia. The paranoia and the rage and the defensiveness. And I was like, is this the place that she creates from? Why? What a way to live. I don't want to live like that, you know? And it's like, I get it, like, as a woman, and she's a black woman, black women, like, okay, like, that's real. The structures and systems are designed to be against, you know, minorities. That's how it is. However, if we dwell on that all day, all fucking day, we're just creating our own mental prison, you know? And the other fucking reality is, because there are many layers of reality, as we know, because you take psychedelics, right? There are many layers of reality. We get to choose which one we're gonna decide to exist in. And the one that I chose very recently is that the universe is always on my side. And the source or creator or God or whatever, they're always gonna, delight in me creating something with joy, with passion, with, whatever, right? With love, all that good shit, right? And that's so much better than being like, the world is against me and I gotta fucking kill to win and I gotta fight and I mean, that is like, it's too much, that costs too much energy.
Yeah. And doing that, creating stuff from joy, having a good, just prioritizing having a good time that's a radical thing to do.
Yeah.
To know that these, especially as like a person, like a minority, where you're always you're kind of all these images of like people who look like you're being put into awful circumstances against their own will, having awful things done to them, or hearing these stories, all these stories of adversity. The stories of adversity are really great, and I think they have their place, but also just showing people who look like you having the best time, being the most joyful, that's a radical concept to me. It's like being able to showcase joy, pure joy and fulfillment in the face of
all that shit.
All of these obstacles. It's like, you could try to put this system around me that's going to destroy me, but I'm still gonna have a good time. I'm still gonna pop champagne. I'm still gonna go to the park and have a picnic. And motherfucker, some people will get real angry at that.
and the people who get angry at that is just because they don't realize what you realize. Like, they're not enlightened. They don't realize that everybody can get it. It's not a scarcity. It's not like there's a limited reserve for some of you who can and can't. It's not like that. As long as you say, I'm seeking this specifically, this is what I want, and you know who you are and you know what you want, then you will get it. Always. That's just how it's been, and that's how it goes. But and people who feel like they're trapped in that limiting belief, I understand that too, because like I've been there. You know, everybody kind of has. We all carry trauma, and it's like you just gotta work through that process, get to the other side, and then come to the realization, which is the truth, which is that the universe is on everybody's side. You all right?
I almost threw up a little bit in my mouth.
Because of what I was saying.
Did this kind of happen?
It's just grossing you out. All this positive gooey shit. It's making you want to puke.
I'm sorry.
Are you blowing your burp gas into your shirt? Thank you. You're so polite.
I try to be.
Yeah. I was at the NoHo library, the Amelia Earhart library.
Yeah.
Whatever
happened to that girl?
Did they find her? Did they ever figure it out? Did they get to the bottom of Amelia?
It's 2022.
Come on. Amelia, if you're out there listening, girl, give us a call.
Hit us up.
Hit us up, Amelia. We want to hear from you, baby. Man, I wonder what happened to her.
Anyway, you're at the library. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was at the library, and I was like, I really like I have things to do later, but I really want to like get a little bit of park time in, and I noticed that right across the street on Magnolia is that huge ass fucking park, which I never saw.
Yeah.
It was weird. I never saw it, but it was right there, and I was like, oh, I'll just walk around this park for like 30 minutes, and I did, and it was really nice. Do you know what park I'm talking about?
Oh yeah.
That's such a nice park.
Yeah. Sometimes you find yourself. A lot of times you can just. I heard somebody say this once, and I thought it was so true. And it's very obvious. I don't know why I didn't consider it.
Yeah.
You can just be outside. You can just go for a fucking walk and be outside.
Yeah.
You don't have to. If you don't have anything to do, you don't have to stay inside your house. You can just go outside.
Yeah. You don't have to be in your room.
stuck in your gloomy thoughts, staring at the wall.
No, you just go for a walk.
Yeah, you don't have to watch 12 hours of television until the sun goes down. You can literally get 5 minutes of sunshine. You can do that. Did you know?
Did you know you could do that?
This is a life hack. Welcome to Life Hacks.
Welcome to Life Hacks. You can just go outside.
You could just put on some socks and shoes and walk out the door.
Today on Life Hacks, I know yesterday we said you can drink water sometimes. Today we're saying you can just go outside and drink breathe air.
You could drink in the fresh air of the outside.
Yeah.
It's free. Did you know it's free? Did you know air is free?
I find myself, sometimes I'll just be inside and I'll just be really depressed. And it's hard to, I know, and now knowing this, I know mentally.
Yeah.
Maybe if I could just go, maybe it's just, I don't know I got all these things I would like to do, but I don't know what to do. And sometimes I might not feel like doing any of them. So and now I truly try to like, whenever I'm in that spot, I feel like I should just take a shower and just go be somewhere else where I'm at. I can always come back, but
yeah.
just not be here right now.
That's the way. Because like with depression also comes that laziness, that feeling of like I don't wanna, But that's also like a form of paralysis.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I have all this time and freedom, and I can go and do all of these things, and you start making a list in your mind, and then it becomes overwhelming. You're like, oh fuck, I have to get up and I have to do all that shit, and then you're just, I'll just lay here. And you get stuck in that mindset, and then it just becomes impossible. But as you say, just one thing, like I'm gonna go shower. You're physical, you're up now, you're mobile. Now suddenly it's like, oh, I can go outside. Oh, I can walk down the street and get a taco. I can call a friend, maybe go on a hike. You start realizing through the motion of doing something that the possibilities are doable and endless. That's smart, taking a shower.
Just take a shower. I told you this. I wet the bed this morning. I fucking wet the bed this morning.
I'm shocked.
Yeah, I do that. Not all the time.
Just sometimes.
So tell me why I'm single. Tell me why I'm single.
What happened? Why did you wet the bed?
I literally, this is how it always happens. It happens like once every 1.5 years.
1.5 years.
Once every 1.5 years. For the last 5 years.
Wow. So this is an 18-month cycle. Last 5 years. Okay.
Yeah. This is how it goes. This is usually how it goes down. I'm dreaming, having the time of my life, and then all of a sudden, I usually go. I end up in the bathroom. I'm like, see, I'll be right back. And then and then I really have to pee, and then I start peeing, and I'm like, man, it's really hard to pee, even though I really have to go. And I'm like, in this dream specifically, I did start to pee, and the pee just seemed to come out like really sputtery, like a sprinkler system almost. And I was like,
not one stream, but like
just like
spraying out.
Yeah, and I was like, what's this about? Every time I tried to like move, like form the pee into a straight line, just couldn't get it. Like more were popping up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh no! And I opened my eyes, big wet spot.
Good God. Good God.
Wet spot.
Let me ask you, when this happens every 1.5 years, like, is there a pattern in terms of where you are in your life, mentally, emotionally, environmentally, atmospherically, in terms of what's happening? Like, is there...
No.
It's just the dream is so vivid and real.
I drank water before maybe it's I drank like a big thing of water before I went to bed. Just so I could stay hydrated. I don't want to wake up
I know,
dehydrated.
but that's like last minute hydration.
Yeah.
Right? You're like, I didn't drink any water today. Let me do it right now before I go to sleep. I'm not gonna pee. You will pee.
8 hours passes. Yeah, you're gonna have
You're gonna pee.
Go.
Wow. So you sleep well. You don't have insomnia.
No. It's hard for me to go to bed, especially lately.
Yeah.
It's been hard to like just sit down and go to bed. A lot of times I need. That's why it's my therapist about it. It's like for some reason I've been having a really hard time just watching the clock strike 12 and then getting the sack, like getting that sleepy urge to go to bed.
Yeah.
And it's funny. This week it's been a bit better. Like I once it's reached like 12, because that's why I usually aim to go to bed.
Yeah.
I've been getting sleepy, so that's good. So I've been able to just go.
You're probably more active during the day though.
I usually get up at 12.
Whoa.
Usually start my day at 12.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
at noon you have your morning coffee and read your paper and.
Yeah. I feel like people who start their day at like 8 or 9. People, they usually are still awake at 8 p.m. 12 hours later, and then they stay up for like 4 more hours maybe, and then they're sleepy.
Yeah.
For me, if I start my day at noon and I go and it gets to midnight, I still have probably maybe 2 or 3 more hours until I'm sleepy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the sleep cycle I'm on now. But I keep on telling myself, why come I can't wake up at 8 p.m.? I want to be a morning person.
8 p.m.
8 a.m.
Maybe that was the problem. You kept saying, I want to be a morning person and wake up at 8 p.m.
Then you know what?
Yeah.
That's probably it.
That's probably it.
That's
you meant 8 a.m. Yeah. You could set an alarm.
I do, but then I'm like, man, I'm so tired.
And then you keep going.
And then I just go back to bed.
You know, my favorite thing to do is actually that. It's like the alarm goes off, and I'm like, fuck you, and I just go back to sleep. I love that. I love that. And then I dream between that time, and I remember it, and I have like a nice, little dream journal moment afterwards. But yeah, I love that. For me, like, I usually, because I've had insomnia all throughout my 20s. Actually, my whole life I've had insomnia.
Yeah.
And I still kind of have it from time to time, but what helps is getting in some exercise in the day. Like, even if it's walking for 20 minutes, like, I'll do that. And then I get some sunshine, so my circadian rhythm is, like, more balanced. Then I'm able to sleep better at night. It's just something I've noticed. Also, like, food, too. If I eat, like, a whole bunch of, like, starch and fat and sugar and stuff, then I have a very uncomfortable sleep. So it's, like, tied to physicality, also mental health, emotional health, all of these things. But, like, they're all kind of in sync with one another. And if they're all kind of balanced, then I sleep really well. But it's just hard. Like, being healthy is so hard.
Yeah. Ugh.
Fucking health.
I hate it. I exercise usually every other day. I like lift weights, but one of the things I have been lacking on is just like eating regularly. Even though
you cook so much and you cook pretty healthy foods.
But it's like I'll cook one thing and maybe I'll have like a snack or two, but that one thing I cook will be the one thing I eat that day.
Yeah. Because
it's hard to get up. I want to just wake up and then like have something ready for me.
You want a butler. Yeah.
Yeah. I do want a butler.
Yeah. I wish I had a butler. Like, sometimes like laundry, like the thought of doing laundry, it just becomes so overwhelming.
Yeah.
It takes up a lot of time. Laundry.
Yeah.
I wish I had a butler to do laundry, my dishes, sweep my floor, cook my meals.
Self-sweeping floor. Self-cleaning floor.
I don't even like those robot things because they're not even that accurate. Like, they can't get, like, the edges,
They don't care about the edges. They just
do the center. I'm like, bitch, I can do that.
Yeah.
That's easy. I want to get, like, the nitty-gritty,
You need, like, an edge robot and then, like, a robot that also does the center.
I like that edge robot. The robot that edges eternally.
What is edging?
You don't know what edging is?
I hear the term like edge lord.
It's like, when you're masturbating and you're about to come, but you just resist the cum and you just keep going. That's edging.
That's what edging is?
So you're standing at the cliff of an orgasm, but you keep edging. Let's see how much further I can go. That's edging.
I've done that.
Yeah. So you know what it is.
Yeah. Sometimes I'll watch a video and be like, I don't want to stop, and I'll just like turn it off, and I'll go to a different video. I've been edging naturally this whole time.
Natural edger.
I'm a natural edger. I'm gonna put that on my resume?
Yeah, your CV. Natural edger. David Ayala. So where'd you grow up?
I grew up in Detroit,
Oh wow.
Michigan. Hated it.
Wow.
Hated it though.
Why?
I think it was fine for the most. It was fine until I turned like 14 and went to high school, because for some reason, well, I know what it is. When I was 13, I came to this realization that I wanted to do comedy for the rest of my life. It's not like I didn't like go through some profound experience like I had to go on a road trip with a comedian.
No.
And
You just knew it.
I just knew it. I watched Pineapple Express, which isn't even like one of my favorite. It's not even a movie I've watched before. I haven't thought twice about it at all. But I remember watching it when I was 13.
Yeah.
And when it was like done, it was right before bed. And I walked into my room and I was like, "Holy shit! I'm gonna do comedy for the rest of my life."
Yeah.
It's not even a profound movie, but it helped me come to that realization.
Sometimes it's that simple. That alignment is that easy.
Yeah, it was yeah. I thought until that point, I thought I was going to just finish school, become a veterinarian, get a house somewhere, and just.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
I love that. I used to want to be a vet when I was in 6th grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love animals, but then I realized there's some animals I don't love.
You have to treat all animals.
I know. You can't just pick and choose. Like, you have to love all of them.
Yeah, if you were a doctor, it's like, I love people except those black people. Ooh, except those black people. Ay, ay, ay. And there's some doctors who are. They're like, ooh, ay, ay, ay. Get them, take them somewhere else.
Ay, ay, ay. That's what racists say right before being racist. Ay, ay, ay.
Ay, ay, ay. Take
ay,
them.
ay, ay.
Can you go somewhere else, please? I was like, I can't. But you don't want to be that bad.
I don't want to be that vet.
Be that bad.
I don't want to be that vet, But, okay, so you want to be a veterinarian, but you had this moment at 13, so you decided to be a comedian.
Yeah, I remember going into, like, because I was always, like, I never said anything. I was very, very shy and reserved kid.
I could see that.
I never had more than, like, 1 or 2 friends, and never did I hang out with them outside of school.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of time just alone.
Thinking thoughts.
Thinking kid thoughts.
Dreaming.
Drinking beer. Drinking beer. And actually, this is funny, talking about jobs. Growing up, because I was alone all the time, the one thing I did do was I watched a lot of cartoons and played video games just by myself.
Yeah.
That's what occupied most of my time.
Yeah.
And at first I thought I would be an artist.
Yeah.
Because I love to draw.
Visual artist.
Yeah, either an animator or a visual artist, and I always had these art supplies I would draw with.
Yeah.
And it really got me jazzed with like one. I think we were just walking down the street one time, I saw some guy trying to sell his art on the street.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that.
You just saw one guy.
I literally just saw
one example.
One anecdote.
One example of a potential path. Oh, that looks grimy as shit.
I was like, can't have that. No way.
Yeah.
So I was like, guess I'm gonna be a vet. Guess we gotta be a veterinarian. So, like, what, 4? Yeah, that's probably when I was 9.
So you continued to draw though.
I really stopped drawing after that.
After seeing that one dude.
I was seeing that one dude, and
I think you said you went to school for animation though, so you weren't drawing?
so this is when I was 9.
Oh, okay.
So 9 going on 10. I think I took like maybe one art class after that, but that was pretty much it. And I thought I'd be a vet, and then I watched that Seth Rogen movie when I was 13. I was like, I'm gonna do comedy. So once that happened, once the comedy thing happened, I really put all my cards on the table and went really hard at it. Like I started writing I think I tried to do like, I think when I was 14, I tried to do like 14, yeah, probably 14. I tried to do it. I went to this jazz club that I emailed, and I was like, "Hey, can I try out these jokes in your
Oh my god!
at your club?"
That.
And I went up and I did it, and
And they let you.
they just let me do it.
Yeah.
Which was like cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And get away from there. Get off the table. I went to this. She's always stealing my star.
What a fucking thunder stealer.
I go to this jazz club. I tell these I'm nervous
Oh,
as
yeah.
shit.
Yeah, and you're 13.
And I'm like, 13, 14.
Oh my god, baby.
And I'm like,
It's not even legal for you to be in that club.
it wasn't. They're like, you can come in and do like 5 minutes before
That's so great.
a thing. And I
Alright.
said, alright. And, you know,
Do you remember the jokes you told?
I blacked it out of my memory.
Oh my god.
I just I remember going to the club, and I was like, I'm gonna do my jokes. I'm gonna tell my jokes, please. And they're like, okay, okay, young blood. Okay, young blood.
So nice.
Go on up.
Yeah.
And then I remember walking up, getting on the stage, blackness, getting off, feeling relieved that it was all over. And my brother picked me up and take me out. I was like, oh, you did? He was like, how'd it go? I was like, it was not good.
Did you hear a laugh?
Not a chuckle in that whole audience.
Ooh.
No.
5 minutes, just dead silence.
Dead silence.
Woo!
Never bombed so hard.
You lived through it though.
Yeah, and I still wanted to do it after that.
Yes.
Most people are like, they have that initial thing. They'll have that initial thing where they like catch a dragon or
Never do
whatever.
it again.
I had like a knife put in me,
Yeah.
and I was like, yeah, I really want to do this again.
More knives, please.
More knives, please.
Yeah, there's more surface area in my body. Stick 'em in. That's how you know you're a comic, though. You have that horrendous. I mean, bombing is perhaps the worst feeling in the world because it's humiliation, and it's shame, and it's rejection. It's those 3 things happening. That's what bombing is.
Yeah.
Imagine enduring that alone on stage in front of dozens or hundreds of people sitting there, staring at you, rejecting you, shaming you, humiliating you, and you're there all by yourself. And you live through that.
Yeah.
And then you say, I want to do it again.
Please, more. But it was really hard to find any other mics I could go to because there wasn't really
Not a scene in Detroit.
not a scene for a 14-year-old to go do stand up.
Okay, that's reasonable.
I think there was places around that people did go to, but no, not for me. So I stopped doing that. And I got really shifted gears to just writing like satirical articles, whatever ones I could come up with, and I would spend a lot of time just like writing these down.
So you're still practicing.
Yeah,
We're working. Yeah.
that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I did that all through high school. I didn't have any friends to distract me or parties to go to stop me from doing it.
Yeah.
So I have all these articles. There's this website called, I think, Points in Case or Point in Case.
Okay.
And it was run by this guy. I forget his name, but essentially he started it in college. It was supposed to be like a website that his friends could submit any funny articles they had
So
to
it
him.
got published.
Yeah, I would like submit stuff to him, and I'd be like, hey, can you put this up?
That's so
And he
nice.
was like, yeah. I mean, he would review it before he did, but he would put it up, and then once they didn't get in, I just put them on my Funny or Die page.
Yeah.
And I think they completely discontinued that.
Yeah, it became something else, I think.
Yeah, so all those articles are gone, but I think all the ones I wrote that got published at
What
Points.
kind of things would you write? Just like news satire, or?
Sometimes it would be, I really like The Onion, so I would like try to do my own.
Emulating The Onion.
Emulating that.
Do you have an example that you remember that you're proud of, or that you feel like worked?
I made a lot of listicles. I think there was like a list that we could just look it up. I just get my.
That's okay. We don't have to do that.
I really don't. I remember looking back on it and being like, I can't believe I wrote this.
Isn't it interesting when you look back on your younger self? It's like somebody else.
Yeah, it's like a completely different person.
Different taste. Different point of view.
Yeah,
A
like
stranger, essentially. A stranger.
You're physically a different person.
Yeah.
I think I told you, like, every 10 years, every cell in your body's, like, replaced.
You transform.
You transform.
Transform.
And I can't believe, I'm like, I came out of that? My cells replicated out of this thing?
It's like, with every work that we do, it's like in that moment, and with what we're capable of and with what we experienced, that's everything that we create. And then we're done with that, so we move on. We have other experiences, other perspectives, other new knowledge, whatever. And then in that present moment, we create whatever, and that's who we are, right? So it's like with each thing, it's progressive and it's different, and you're transforming throughout. So, yeah.
Everything I make now, though, is gonna be fucking fire.
Fire.
Gonna look at when I'm 70, I'm like, still good, baby.
Still lit. Still slaps. So good.
Michael Jackson hits. They don't care.
All the way.
They don't care about what he did.
Always forgive it.
Always awesome. So,
yeah.
Growing up in Detroit, although comedy was like the really thing that saved me, because when I decided to get into comedy, it was also at the same time I realized, I don't want to be alone all the time watching TV and just playing video games by myself.
Right. No more the withdrawn stuff.
Yeah, and but by that point, I didn't really go. Yeah, didn't really have more than one or two friends in school. And
right.
Never hung out with them outside of that.
No social life.
I had my family, and I hung out with my cousins and stuff. But that's my family. It's different.
Social life out there.
No social life. I didn't go to camp. I always resisted going to camp.
What were you afraid of?
I just didn't want to do it. I just remember, like, I would much rather just be here watching cartoons and playing video games.
So similar to the depression thing, when you sit alone in your room and you're feeling kind of depressed, and you're like, I just prefer. But then you go and force yourself to do it. I guess the reason why you're able to go and force yourself to do it is because you did that when you were a teenager.
I did that, yeah. And when I was up until I was 14, I was happy doing that.
Yeah.
I was very, very content. And then when I went into high school, I had that thought, I want to have friends, I want to hang out with people, I want to go to parties and stuff. Yeah. And I just was not good at conversation at all, or I had a really hard time keeping keeping conversations going, and it's just like and I try to strike up conversations with people.
So you
and
were awkward as hell.
I was so awkward, and I could not. And I just was just face planting in every like social interaction I had. I made like a couple of friends.
Yeah.
That were really great.
They're like, oh, he's just differently abled.
Yeah, like he's just.
We'll be inclusive.
We'll include him. I remember one friend who I should actually hit up and maybe message her about this because I was like, one girl named
Have her
Arietta.
describe you
Yeah.
back then.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
She was really fun to hang out with. My friend India, she was really fun. Anna, a lot of like these kind of weird anime kids.
Women accepted you.
Women accepted me.
Women accept all. Women are compassionate. Women at heart.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any of my male friends from high school.
They're like, no. We'll let the women break him in. And then send him to us when he's ready.
You know what?
Yeah.
I think a lot of it was my fault because I was just like weird. I was just this weird kid who loved video games and anime.
Yeah. That is kind of weird.
And like
especially for a black kid.
In Detroit,
yeah.
Specifically, nobody was like on. The majority of kids weren't on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
As me, but there was like at my high school.
Yeah.
My high school was also very diverse. Surprisingly, we had like a large, like a sizable population of like kids from Bangladesh or Bangladeshi
Oh wow.
kids. I think like Hamtramck has like, I think like the second largest, I think, Muslim population in the entire country.
Wow.
So we had like a sizable amount of kids from that ethnic group, and then we also had like a large sizable Latino population.
Yeah.
Also in the same school.
It's a lot of black and brown kids.
A lot of black and brown kids, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's important for cultivating a healthy, self-esteem for diverse kids. Yeah.
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 So in this whole group, there was a scene of like these weird anime kids who were really into the things I was into.
Yeah.
But I resisted hanging out with them.
Why?
So much because everybody in school looked at them as like these weird kids.
As the creeps.
The weird,
the out there,
outcast, weirdo kids, and I was like, oh, I'm not gonna make any friends if I'm in this group.
Even though you have no friends. Amazing.
No friends.
Amazing. That's
weird.
how people project, though, right? It's all about projection like that. It's like the thing that you feel the most insecure about, you project and judge onto others, and that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Even though you could have been vibing with them, they were probably your people.
They're my people, and now I'm not gonna run into them again. At least unless I go to like a 10-year high school reunion.
Yeah.
Which is coming up in what, 2 years? 2 years
Wow.
now?
Wow.
No, 1 year.
Oh shit.
It'll be 1 year next year.
Are you gonna go?
I think so. Just like I didn't really know anybody.
That could be an episode.
My 10-year high school reunion. I'd love to shoot that. That would be so good.
Do it. Bring consent forms and just be like, this is happening.
Yeah.
Say, I live in Hollywood, baby. This is a consent form.
Please consent to this.
And they'll be like, who are you? Like, do we go to school together?
Yeah.
You never talked.
I never talked to... the anime kids knew who I was. It's not like I didn't avoid them completely. Like, I would always hang out with them, like, in the area they would hang out in.
Oh my god, this is so sad.
But
like, just in proximity, not, like, with them.
Yeah, like,
oh
I might
gosh.
chat with them here and now, but not really.
And they'd be like, okay, gotta go, bye.
It's like, bye, I gotta go somewhere. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Wow.
It's insane because hopefully all of us also looked like pretty nerdy.
Yeah.
Dirty at that time, but
sure.
like a sizable amount of us are now like hot as fuck.
Always how it goes down.
I remember this one kid Trey is like had this like always had this like kind of like pressed, straightened long hair and carry around like an electric guitar all the time
Oh,
and
okay.
skate.
Wow.
He was like this really skinny kid, and I
Yeah.
looked back and I was like, I wonder what Trent is now. I looked at him. He's fucking this like buff hottie. This is fucking hot
Yeah.
black guy.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, fuck, man. Why wasn't I just like cooler about?
You could go to this reunion and, you know.
I carried around a ukulele all the time.
Did you really?
Yeah,
That's wild.
I started playing ukulele when I was like 15, and I would just bring it to school and hang out with it. Actually, there was one guy from high school who I do remember and had talked to since, and he was actually in town a little bit ago. We couldn't connect, and I was like, next time. His name was Cesar. He was this wonderful guitar player.
Yeah.
And he always entertained like my conversations whenever I talked to him. He was super cool.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not entertained. I'm sure he was engaged.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
I remember one day I went to school and I was like, you know what? Today, my name's Axel. Call me Axel. And he was like, all right, Axel.
He's so down. So down. He yes and did everything you want. That's
Yeah.
What a good friend. That's being a good friend.
He's such a good guy, good friend.
Being a good buddy. Because, you know, if you had said that to me, I'd be like, no. I am not calling you that. Get the fuck out of here.
Like, but it's a cooler name.
Axel is a badass name.
It is. It makes me think of like a steak knife.
So, okay, after high school.
So we get to once I graduated high school, I was like, what the? It's a little bit more into this. A little bit more of this high school era.
Okay.
When I was 16, I realized. I think I watched like an improv, like a UCB improv thing
Yeah.
online. And I was
Okay.
like, I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I found out there used to be a Second City in Detroit.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay.
And the people from Second City, Detroit, went and when that closed, they went off and they formed. Well, even before it was closed, one theater came out of that called the Planet Ant. It was a comedy theater, and they put up like these like sketch reviews,
Okay.
and then also another theater called Go Comedy
Okay.
formed out of that.
Yeah.
And they had a whole like eight class levels
Oh,
that you
wow.
could take up improv, and
So you started taking classes.
So I started taking improv classes when I was 16
Okay.
there, but everybody there was like in their like probably like late 20s to
So you
early
were, again,
30s.
the youngest.
The youngest kid, and I couldn't, I would mainly hang out with them after
Yeah.
school. I would go and
Wow,
see
with
a show.
adults.
With just adult motherfuckers. These adult people. Eventually I found like the like some younger people
Yeah.
did get involved, and I would hang out with them
Okay.
mainly.
Yeah.
Remember my friend Alyssa? She was like a college student at Mount Holyoke.
Okay.
It's like-
Okay. Yeah. Was
Was
she a lesbian?
yeah.
Yeah.
But I would hang out there. That was super cool.
Yeah.
My friend Dylan. I had this really cool friend. God, I'm forgetting his name.
Such a good friend.
Sam.
Sam.
Sam. We would hang out sometimes. I was like, Sam's the fucking coolest guy. I should actually send all of these people messages. Being
Yeah.
like, what's up?
Yeah, you're reminiscing.
Yeah.
Looking back.
And
at
I'm
your
like,
Sega, comedy Sega.
So, I got this whole crew at the end of it that were around my age, but it was always that friction, that was frustration. I was like, I don't feel like I can be a part of this community because again, one, it's 99.99% white. Like I'm
That's
probably
true.
one of 3 or 4 black people that
Yeah.
ever like hung around
Yeah.
the theater.
Yeah.
And I feel like I was always just kind of I didn't feel I don't know if I'd say, I felt more tolerated than I did welcomed.
And embraced.
and embraced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And you were like a teenager, and yeah, so
it's
it's hard.
it's
You got
really
a couple things stacked up against you.
So all the stuff at school, all the stuff at the improv and the improv scene,
Mm.
and then once I finally graduated high school, I was like, I know I'm a comedian. I need to be in the comedy scene, so I looked for a school that could just like essentially house me as soon as possible. I found like the Art Institute.
Mhm.
Um, the Art Institute, which had campuses literally all around the country,
Yeah.
and they had a school in New York, Chicago, and Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, I really want to take classes at UCB and IO, and Los Angeles had both UCB and IO there. I got into the school in Los Angeles, and they also had housing programs. So
So you moved.
I literally moved here like 7 days after my 18th birthday.
Wow.
Didn't fucking know anybody.
Yeah.
I just knew about like, the clubhouse.
Yeah.
I just knew about the clubhouse
On Vermont.
on at the time it was like on El Centro
Oh wow.
in the fucking alley.
Oh wow. Now it's kind of a nice spot.
Now it's a really nice spot.
Yeah.
It was a nice, honestly, I like the alley spot. It was like a really hidden. It looked really cool.
Okay. Yeah, that character.
Yeah, really a lot of character, but yeah, I went to school for animation because I wanted to improve my drawing skills.
Sure.
And I was like, well, if I'm not gonna be a vet, I might as well like lean back into like a second passion of mine, which is art.
Right.
So I took all these drawing classes and all my general ed classes, and it was only like I would only have to go like 1 or 2 days out of the week. And I would get all my classes done, and the rest of the time I'd just be doing
Chilling.
improv
Okay.
and
Yeah.
taking these improv classes and trying to get into stand up and exploring, meshing myself into the comedy scene.
Word.
And 9 years later, we're here.
Here you are.
Yeah,
Living it up, killing it,
killing it.
living the dream.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome. That's my story. Whenever you want to talk about K-dramas.
We're gonna talk about it now. So I'm gonna ask you some flashcard questions based on a show called A Woman of Dignity. And this show came out a few years ago, and it was like super fucking popular, right? So I'm just gonna ask you some questions based on the show, some scenes, and then you just answer what you would do if you were in that situation.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Let's say you're a woman in her 30s, you have a young daughter in elementary school, you're married to a pretty well-off guy. You live with his father and his sister-in-law, so his brother's wife. His brother is like out in the States somewhere because he got into some trouble with the law and shit. And you're like the home manager, the homemaker person, but you guys are like really fucking wealthy. And your father-in-law is wheelchair bound because he's ill. So you hire a nurse, like a live-in nurse, to take care of him, okay? One day, your father-in-law says to you, I'm marrying her, my nurse's aide. What do you do? Oh, and she also has a criminal record.
The nurse's aide?
The nurse has a criminal record.
I'd probably just ask him questions. Like why? What's been going on between you two?
Yeah.
Why her? My first response isn't to be like, fuck, no, don't do that.
Okay.
Even though knowing that she has a criminal record, because people have criminal records.
Yeah.
They're
Whatever.
still good people.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I think my first response is just to make sure he's not going to be taken advantage of, and that this is something he actually wants to do.
Yeah.
That would be it. I wouldn't be I would be concerned. The only thing I'd be concerned about is like her marrying him and like getting him to sign over like all of whatever his assets are to this new person. But I'm like, well, if my husband has a job and he's and I'm pretty satisfied with what I'm doing as a homemaker, and my daughter's taken care of.
Yeah.
You know, my sister-in-law, she's vibing or whatever.
Yeah.
As long as we can take care of ourselves separate from this man's money, then I wouldn't have an issue.
Well, it's actually, that's not how it is. So the father-in-law, he's the president of a massive corporation, and your husband is like the CEO of that corporation. But he's kind of a fuck up. Like his older brother, your brother-in-law, he was like getting into all kinds of trouble, and that's why the father like sent him away, like abroad, to be like, you're too much, like get the fuck out of here. And after he marries this woman, he dies and he leaves the assets to this woman. Yeah, now what do you do?
My husband's not a fuck up, it's the brother-in-law.
Your husband has been cheating on you with your daughter's art teacher.
Oh my god! Behind my back? We're not even an open thing or whatever. Holy shit!
So that's what's going down.
I'd probably collect as much money as I could. That's already in my bank account. Set up a new bank account. Get a move out and just try to leverage what I have been doing into like a new career, just so I can establish like a nice, safe home for me and my kid, and me and my husband can talk about this if we want. I don't appreciate being cheated. I wouldn't appreciate being cheated on, but I don't think it's something that's a relationship ender. So like, my main priority is just like putting my kid in a situation where she's safe and doesn't have to worry about all this drama.
The drama. It's juicy ass drama.
Oh, that's like warm peach juice drama.
Like it's been sitting for a while and fermenting, kind of. Peach juice drama. Like you open it and it's fizzing. Like it is like pungent.
Yeah. I'm like in this. I'm married into this family. I'm like, but it's not. I'm not responsible for it. All I really am responsible for is my child's well-being.
Good.
And mine too, but also like my kid.
Yeah, you and your daughter. Okay. This is before you know that your husband is cheating. Okay, you go to a shaman. Like a lot of Korean women will go to like local shamans and stuff, get like readings and the shaman says to you, oh, this is a tarot card reader actually. So she like reads your tarot cards and she's like, you have a pretty good looking husband. You know, he makes good money. He's gonna cheat on you. So what I suggest is you need to change his face. So right now his eyebrows are kind of thin. You need to darken his eyebrows, make him thick as caterpillars. And she recommends that you get your husband's eyebrows reshaped. Yeah. What do you do?
Get what?
This is what she says. This is what her suggestion is.
I don't even know how to do that. I don't even know like any medical. I don't know how to convert.
Oh, you wouldn't have to do it. I mean, you could go to a cosmetologist. They'll do it.
Yeah, but it's probably if I really wanted him to not cheat on me.
Yeah.
If I really wanted him to not cheat on me.
Yeah.
What I would do, I would just talk to him about our relationship.
Okay.
Talk to him about our relationship and like what.
Instead of doing this whole eyebrow shit.
That seems like way more like trying to convince him to go to a cosmetologist because I'm like, your eyebrows would look mad better if they were like thick, honey. Just putting on this whole front like, ooh, if you had thick eyebrows, that would just make me mad. Ooh, like gushy. Like, you gotta do it. Instead of having to do all that, I think it would be way easier to just like
talk.
sit down and talk about
Have a cup of coffee.
us. Yeah.
As husband and wife. Yeah. You're right. These bitches, man. These bitches.
What?
These bitches be crazy. Okay.
So, yeah, what happens?
Now let's say you're the husband,
Yeah.
alright? And your wife takes you to a eyebrow tattoo parlor and is fucking tattooing thick ass eyebrows onto you. It hurts like hell.
I agree to it.
Yeah, you're in the chair, it's happening, and in the middle of it, you're like, oh my god, like, honey, why do I have to do this? And she says, I went to a tarot card reader, and she says if you do this, you're gonna make more money. What do you do?
I'm like mid procedure.
Kinda, yeah.
Take a hand mirror and just be like, take a hand mirror, and if I don't like what I see if there's any way that they can get like in this thing, stop this.
Just live with one eyebrow thick and the other just regular.
Honestly, I probably just like finish. If I'm like mid tattoo, I'm finishing it. I'm just gonna finish the tattoo because we can't just have one thick tattoo eyebrow.
Yeah. I mean, you could and just say that's your style, but yeah,
But it's not.
We want.
It's all of it's not. I didn't even want to do it. It's like none of this is my style, but I'd rather have like an equal, like a symmetrical style that's not I don't like.
Yeah.
Than like have a fucking
Yeah.
eyebrow. So that's my first. I just saw him to finish it, and I'd also say I make enough money. I don't need this.
Right. You don't need this weird hokey pokey shit to determine your fortune because you're already fucking balling.
Yeah.
Okay. Final question.
Yeah.
You're the daughter. You're in 3rd grade. You're taking art classes, private one-on-one art classes with this very beautiful young art teacher.
Yeah.
Who also sold her art to your mom. Okay, your mom is like a big patron of this woman's artwork. But whenever you're in her apartment, like doing artwork, she leaves and goes out into the kitchen to hang out with your dad. And you know something's fishy. She does this a lot. Alright? And you're the child. What do you do?
I'm trying to think back to 8-year-old me. Is this like 27-year-old me and 8-year-old's body? That just doesn't work. But 8-year-old me, what was I doing when I was 8? I think the biggest when I was 8, when I was 8, so I was sitting behind some kid, my hands were on my desk like this, and he like backed up his chair a little bit on my fingers. It didn't hurt that much, maybe like a little sting, but I went, ah! And my teacher was like, "Who was that?" And I just feigned like, "Oh, my God, it hurts so bad with a gut."
So you're a tad dramatic.
So taking that into account.
Yeah.
Taking that into account.
Yeah.
I would I'd probably say nothing. I'd probably say nothing at all.
It's like, she didn't stomp on your fingers, so like, what's there for you to do?
What's there to be upset about?
Yeah.
My body's intact.
Yeah, whatever. Let them do their thing.
I'm 8. I love art.
Yeah, fuck them. Paint myself a nice octopus. Very good. Shit out of me! Fuck you, Pat! What a bitch!
My God!
Oh my God!
This is a dog. what happens.
That's what the cat does. Ugh. Thank you, David. This was fun.
That was it.
That's it.
I'm glad. What happens in the story? I'm curious. What actually happens in the story?
The nurse lady she ends up getting killed.
Is it a hit job?
Huh?
Is it a hit job?
Yeah.
Mm.
I don't know, actually. I can't remember. I know she definitely dies.
Oh.
I know.
I got a feeling she doesn't deserve that.
I know. I was like, I wish she had lived.
Yeah.
Because, like, she's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Like, she went to prison for her brother, like, in place of her brother, you know, so that he could continue, like, she, like sacrificed herself and did time for her brother. She had a daughter, but she couldn't afford, her daughter was sick with leukemia, but she couldn't afford the hospital expenses, so the daughter died. Like, this lady's been through a lot of shit.
Oh my god.
I know. And she sort of, like, very deliberately weaseled her way into this rich family as this nurse to take care of this elderly man in order to marry. Like, she was gold digging.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Gold digging for a reason.
yeah, like,
Still gold digging, but a little bit more.
Yeah, whatever. Fuck him.
Yeah.
You know? And she did get her way to the top, but fell real fast and died.
She died.
She fucking got whacked. Bleeding on the floor and everything, in her beautiful satin blouse. At least she died looking hot, you know?
Yeah.
She went out looking good.
I'm happy I could enmesh myself in this story somehow.
You can relate.
I can relate.
Yeah. Alright. Thank you.
I'm happy, yeah. Thanks for schooling me.
Anytime.
Thanks for schooling me.
Anytime.